In this video, we will show you how to replace your front ABS sensor on this Chevy Silverado. This will be located behind your front wheel. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we need to do is safely raise and support the vehicle so the front wheel's off the ground. Once you've done that, continue on to removing your center cover using a 22mm socket, and then we'll remove all 6 of our 22mm lug nuts located behind it. Get the wheel off of here. Now that we have the wheel off, we're going to start removing the caliper from the area. If you were to look along the backside, you're going to find that you have 2 18mm headed bolts to remove. Use an 18mm to remove these bolts. Once you remove the mounting bolts, give it a quick inspection. If it looks like it's rotted and damaged, you have to go ahead and replace these. I'll start that one in just a couple threads here and fully remove the other one. Slide this off of here. A quick inspection of your brake pads, of course. If it looks like they are worn or damaged in any way, it's a good idea to go ahead and replace the brakes. We'll set this aside, putting no pressure on the flex hose temporarily. Let's remove the brake rotor. We'll give this a quick inspection. Once again, if it looks like it's rotted, go ahead and replace the front brakes. With the rotor out of the way, the next thing that we need to do is pay attention to our ABS wire. This ABS wire comes from the wheel bearing all the way up across the upper control arm, across the frame, and it mounts in up along the top here where you're going to find a wire connector. To dislodge this connector, go ahead and take hold of that locking tab, lift it up just a little bit, and disconnect the connector. A quick inspection for corrosion. We'll set one side aside and continue on with disconnecting the rest of that ABS wiring harness. Right there's the little locking tab. You can just lift up on that. You could use your fingers or a small prying device. You can even use a small pocket screwdriver if you need it. If you see any funny colors in this area, that would be corrosion and it needs to be dealt with. This one looks fine. Let's start dislodging that ABS wire. You can use a trim tool or a small prying device for this. Just make your way underneath it and lift it up and out of place. As we make our way along this area, you can find that you can use a small screwdriver to dislodge each one of these clips without actually removing them from the frame. This one in here. Make its way underneath this caliper. To dislodge it from this area, you'd want to squeeze on these 2 ears right along this area and pull it out of place towards the front of the vehicle. You can use some long nose pliers for this. Now we can move along to where the ABS wire connects into the wheel bearing assembly itself. To remove this, we'll be using a 3/16 Allen head socket. Remove the mounting bolt, give it a close inspection, make sure it's not rotted. This one looks fine, we'll set it aside. Go ahead and take hold of that sensor, we'll give it a little wiggle and remove it from the wheel bearing. Once you've done so, you can also remove it from the backing plate. Got our little gasket here. Take both of those off of there. Slide this out from the backing plate. There it is, friend. The next thing you'll want to do is clean and inspect the mounting port on the wheel bearing. It's important to note, never use any type of chemicals or solvents in this area. Just go ahead and use a clean rag, give it a quick wipe, make sure nothing falls inside of the wheel bearing. Let's get ready for the installation of our front ABS sensor. Go ahead and put this in position, sliding it through the wheel bearing first. We'll continue on with the gaskets and then slide this into the wheel bearing. Careful with that sensing agent. We don't want to cause any damage. We have our 2 gaskets. Slide those right on there. We'll continue on with a tiny bit of high temperature lubricant just along that small O-ring gasket. Use a glove finger to work it around. Okay, let's slide this into the wheel bearing. Align the mounting bolt hole with each one of the gaskets and continue on to starting in that mounting bolt. I'm going to use my tool to align those gaskets here. It's fairly easy to make its way right in the center. Now that we have this bolt snug, we'll torque it to 115 inch-pounds. Now we can secure this to the bracket here. Let's clip this on. You want to press it in, listen for a click from that. Let's continue with the ABS wire. We'll take this and bring it behind the flex hose here. Now we can connect this into its corresponding bracket. Just press it in, listen for a click from that. Let's continue on down the line. Slide this on there. Press it in, listen for a click from that. We'll make our way up here. The next thing we'll do is continue on with connecting in our 2 wires, and then we'll slide that wire connector down into its locked position. Press that in, listen for a click, give it a little tug. Double check to make sure it's secure. Moving along, we're going to clean the mating surface of our wheel bearing and the backside of the rotor. You can use a wire brush and some parts cleaner for this. A little splash of anti-seize. Install your brake rotor. We'll continue on to that caliper. Go ahead and take that and put it in position. Once you have it in position, continue on with your 2 mounting bolts. Slide this right on over that. We've got our 2 mounting bolts. Clean the threads. Of course, I'm going to use some thread locker on these. With each one of these 2 bolts snug, continue on to torquing these to 129 foot-pounds. One last quick inspection in the area and we'll continue on with our wheel. Start on all 6 of your 22mm lug nuts. We'll bottom these out, get the wheel safely back on the ground, and then we can torque each of these to 140 foot-pounds. With the wheel on the ground, we'll torque these in a crisscross manner. torqued. If you have a center cover, install that now. To install your center cover, you'll notice that you have 6 caps that need to screw onto each one of the lug nuts. Go ahead and align it and install these by hand. You don't want to strip them out. Okay friend, we showed you how to install your front ABS sensor on your vehicle. The process for one side of the vehicle is the exact same thing as the other. Once you've completed, continue on by taking your vehicle for a road test and make sure you have no ABS light. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.